But as we all know, that's where true transformation comes from. So this thing, we're building from the bottom up. So we're flipping the current model on its head. And so this is the only way that it can work is from the bottom. And but that's where the monumental transformation happens. So I agree, and I yield.
Thank you, David. Further comments or questions, or should we proceed on to agenda item? The next
this is
agenda
David,
item?
Michigan.
Yeah, David.
I just might ask how we might be able to get the constables recognized by the sheriffs. If we were to come up with our own local constables that represent the grassroots of our community, just looking around me at the size of the counties and the sheriffs of those counties, they have a tendency to not even see anything that's going on at the grassroots. In fact, a lot of them are taking their marching orders from, the higher ups, so to speak, the courts and the legislators and all that other kind of stuff. So how might recognition be had at the county level? I yield.
Thank you, David. That's an excellent question. The documents in the treason directory under our Supreme Court of Law, we quoted one of them, the citations document for forming self-governing communities. There's two citations documents that are intended to supplement the two main documents. And the first document, and this is probably where our community here should be doing its most activism, is printing out these kind of documents, or at least sending the PDFs through email to local sheriffs and county commissioners or supervisors, and city officials, police chiefs, and things like this. Because the treason document, the first document in the series of 5 documents there, is explaining in idiot-proof manners that there's two models of government. There's Roman Empire, top-down authoritarian government, and then there's Israelite, Anglo-American, common law, grassroots, bottom-up model of government, and they're inherently opposed. And the top-down authoritarian model of government has been well-financed, and it amounts to a treasonous conspiracy to take away the common law rights of the people. So, David, the first step is to present that constructive notice of treason document to your local sheriff so that he's clear that he's got common law duties, because the county sheriff is a common law jurisdiction office. The entire county is a common law jurisdiction. But he's also got the nature of his office. He's got a municipal franchise, and that's where all the statutes and codes and blind obedience to the black-robed judicial officers all comes in. And so the documents are only used to prompt discussion. And when you explain the nature of the problem to the sheriff and the county commissioners and others of concern there, it's good to have the second document also about how to form responsibly self-governing communities, because that explains that the office of the sheriff is really a common law office, and his priority should be to keep the peace, not breach it. And common law defines what's a breach of the peace. Roman civil municipal law does not concern itself with breach of the peace, because the very nature of that civil municipal law is an aggressive type of social interaction. Common law and Israelite Torah law is the only systems of law that actually prioritize refraining from breach of the peace, for keeping the peace, and not using a double negative there. I hope that answers your question, David, that the documents that have been composed of constructive notice of treason and notice, we're not asking their permission. The second document about constructive notice of the formation of local self-governing communities, once you send that to these people, and this is probably more directly answering your question, once we send those documents to the sheriff and the county prosecuting attorney and the commissioners, they've had notice. And those documents say, please object to us in a timely manner. Please communicate to us your objections in a timely manner if you have objections to our starting to form our own constables and filling the vacant offices here. And they probably won't object because they don't even like talking to us about these issues. It causes them pain. They don't like to talk about it. So they're under. We've got a default, and we can go ahead and start moving forward. And especially with regard to court cases, we've got a number of court cases. Cynthia Moore's case, the foreclosure, things like that. If she was organizing here, we would have authority to go into court proceedings with our town constables, and the town constable would be authorized to keep the peace in the courtroom. If there's a few people assuming offices of town constables and justices of the peace that are involved in a court case here, you could probably take the control of the court case away from the corrupted municipal judicial officer right there in the courtroom. There's all kinds of opportunities at our fingertips. I'm digressing a little bit, but I hope I painted in some answers to your questions there, Brother David. I yield.
Thank you. Okay.